In this video, I will explain to you the story of the beloved character Ronnie Anne from childhood until now. Ronnie Anne Santiago is a bold and street-smart character in The Loud House. She brings a strong, independent energy to the series, standing out with her confident, no-nonsense personality. As an adventurous skater who isn't afraid to speak her mind, Ronnie Anne quickly becomes a close friend to Lincoln Loud, breaking through the chaos of the noisy household with her unique mix of toughness and kindness. Despite the constant hustle and bustle around her, Ronnie Anne always manages to keep her cool, adding a refreshing and grounded presence to the otherwise chaotic environment. Before we dive into Ronnie Anne's relationships, adventures, and the special friendships that have shaped her along the way, let's take a step back and explore where it all began, her journey from childhood to adulthood. As a baby, Ronnie Anne would soil her diapers and fart a lot. When Ronnie Anne was in first grade, she flubbed her line during a play and accidentally tripped on the stage, which caused the audience to laugh at her. Embarrassed, Ronnie Anne developed stage fright. When Ronnie Anne was about 8 years old, she looked up to her big brother Bobby and copied everything he did, which drove Bobby nuts and locking himself in the bathroom. At some point, her and Bobby's parents got divorced. When Ronnie Anne was still in 5th grade, she and Bobby moved out of Royal Woods to live with their mother's extended family in Great Lake City. At 11 years old, Ronnie Anne is Lincoln's tomboyish best female friend whom he has a crush on. In the future, she is 31 years old with her family and husband. Now that we've finished discussing Ronnie Anne's childhood, let's move on to her relationship with Lincoln Loud. Ronnie Anne's relationship with Lincoln is quite similar to her older brother Bobby's relationship with Lori. Ronnie Anne had a supposed crush on Lincoln but was too shy to show or admit it, so she picked on him specifically because of her feelings towards him. Despite both liking each other in early episodes, they only dated once, and even that time was only to get Bobby and Lori back together. In April Fool's Rules, Ronnie Anne is coming over on April Fool's Day, the day Luan becomes a pranking monster and sets up cruel pranks around the house. To protect her, Lincoln sacrifices himself and ends up setting off all of the pranks, causing severe injury to himself. Ronnie Anne then comes to the house and throws a pie at Luan and offers to draw eyebrows on Lincoln and invites him for a milkshake, saying she was grateful for him protecting her from Luan's pranks, and the two head off on their way. In Dance Dance Resolution, Lincoln ducks from Ronnie Anne to ensure she doesn't ask him to the Sadie Hawkins dance, not because he doesn't like her, but rather because he wanted to go to the arcade instead. When Luan, Lucy, Lynn, and Luna each get him a date to the dance and he sees Ronnie Anne is at the dance as well, he tries to avoid her because he feels he will hurt her feelings if she finds out he went to the dance without her. When she finds him, she states that she actually never wanted to ask him to the dance, but rather to go to the arcade with her. Upon learning he was avoiding her all day, she forgives him, she admitting she would have done the same if he were to ask her to a dance. The two are then seen together at the arcade, playing Dance Battle. In Shell Shock, Mrs. Johnson assigns Lincoln and Ronnie Anne to take care of an egg as a school project. Lincoln is afraid that Ronnie Anne is too reckless to take care of an egg, so he tries to not let her take it. When Ronnie Anne says she's going to take the egg home at the end of the day, Lincoln makes a complete replica of the egg from rubber cement and gives it to her. She is surprised by his sudden change in attitude. However, Lincoln soon finds that he actually gave Ronnie Anne the real egg instead of the fake egg, so he goes to her house telling her he just wanted to see the egg. Just after Lincoln switches the eggs, he notices that Ronnie Anne is a really thoughtful and helpful person at her house. Realizing that Ronnie Anne is not as reckless as he thought, Lincoln decides to put the real egg back, but Ronnie Anne catches him trying to replace the eggs and is furious when he tells her he didn't think he could trust her to take care of something so fragile. During this, Lincoln himself accidentally causes the real egg to fall and break. Heartbroken at the fact that they're going to flunk the assignment, and at how Lincoln perceives her, Ronnie Anne tells Lincoln to leave her house. Sometime later, Lincoln comes back to the Santiago house with a replacement egg. He explains that he talked with Mrs. Johnson to give Ronnie Anne a second chance on the assignment because he learned that she's not as bad as he thought. The teacher agreed, but they won't be rewarded with the big waffle breakfast, but Lincoln says he no longer cares about that, just as long as he and Ronnie Anne can get the assignment done. Ronnie Anne, grateful for what Lincoln did, invites him inside since they're having waffles for breakfast. Then Ronnie Anne tricks Lincoln into thinking she's going to break the replacement egg as revenge. In Don't You Forget About Me, she and Lincoln made a skating video while the others are busy in exploring Fairway University. In The Horror Scope, after getting a prediction by Ernesto Estrella that she will find love, Lincoln calls to inform her that he's coming for another visit. As they hang out, Ronnie Anne begins to think Lincoln is showing signs of affection towards her and asks Sid to tag along with them as her wingman and kill the vibe, but she leaves them after spotting the bird she was hunting. Her fear grows as they're having pizza together and Lincoln changes into a tuxedo and leaves. Arriving back to the apartment, her anxiety reaches a critical level when Lincoln suddenly presents a wedding ring on one knee, but it turns out that Lincoln was actually preparing himself for a magic trick involving interlocking wedding rings. This revelation throws Ronnie Anne completely off, but relieved that they're still just friends for now. Now that we've explored Ronnie Anne's relationship with Lincoln, let's dive into one of the most important friendships in her life, her bond with Sid Chang. They first meet in the Casagrandes, where Sid quickly becomes Ronnie Anne's closest friend. From the moment they meet, the two hit it off with their shared interest in adventure, skateboarding, and their mutual love for animals. In Room for Improvement with the Casagrandes, the duo come across a hidden room in the laundry room while looking for a place of their own to practice their dancing and inconspicuously bring some of their belongings to place in the secret room to decorate it and plan to use it later. Throughout the rest of the day, the various tenants of the apartment arrive and apologize if they got in the way of hanging out and state that if the two want to hang out in the apartment, they can simply ask them and they'll leave. Feeling bad for keeping the room a secret, they decide to tell everyone and work out a system so that everyone can use it in their own time, including Ronnie Anne and Sid when they practice their dancing in peace. In Face the Music with the Casagrandes, when Ronnie Anne confides to Sid about her stage fright with Hector's birthday coming up, she attempts to help her conquer her fears by performing in front of folks on the subway and on an empty street, but with no success. In Pranks for the Memories with the Casagrandes, Sid was impressed by how well Ronnie Anne gets along with her male cousins. But when it came to Carlota, it ends up feeling awkward. Sid empathizes her situation with how she can't connect with a kookaburra at the zoo. When the adults leave, Sid tells her to seize this chance to bond with Carlota. By the end of the episode, Sid sends Ronnie Anne a picture of her finally bonding with the kookaburra just as she is bonding with Carlota. In New Haunts, they get invited to a 6th grader's Halloween party and arrive in costumes while no one else is wearing a costume. They end up ruining the party and throw away the costumes before going to Samir's party, but when the bouncer won't let them in without a costume, they retrieve their costumes from the trash to get in despite how much they reek. After finding a rat in Sid's costume, she and Ronnie Anne fall into the half pipe and end up destroying their costumes, making the bouncer kick them out. As the girls bemoan how horrible their Halloween went, they arrive back to the Mercado and manage to salvage the night, thanks to Bobby, by doing the vampire boogie. Have you ever wondered what the worst Ronnie Anne's episode was? Let me tell you. In the episode Save the Date, Lincoln told a few kids at school that he'd rather lick the bathroom floor than kiss Ronnie Anne, but he only did so to hide their relationship. Unfortunately, Ronnie overheard him saying that and was absolutely heartbroken, which made Bobby break up with Lori. Lori then forced Lincoln to make it up to Ronnie and fix her relationship by going on a double date with Bobby and Ronnie. While Ronnie was still mad at him, she understood his conflict with Lori, stating that she had similar problems with Bobby. Near the end, Lincoln kissed her in front of his classmates, and the next day, Lincoln was once again being teased by his classmates, but he chose to accept it because he felt it was better than ruining his friendship with Ronnie. Suddenly, Ronnie showed up, slapped him for the kiss, and broke up with him, causing his classmates to stop their teasing and offer him their sympathies. He then found a note from Ronnie explaining that the breakup was fake, and that she only did it to get his classmates to stop mocking him, something that Lincoln truly appreciated. And that was the end of the episode. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks in advance and see you in the next one.